It's opening day. Major League Baseball is back. And Parker and I love to overreact because we know everything about 2026. We know everything about the baseball season off of today's games, right, Parker? I'm assuming that's how this works.
Yeah, if there's anything that we know, it's that we can take everything that happened on opening day and opening night, take it at face value, and infer what is going to happen for the rest of the baseball season based only on one game for every team.
It's
That's true.
science, friends. It is
Exactly.
science. And so today we're going to be scientific. There's a lot of things that happened today, Parker, that some of it's shocking, some of it we expected, but we're a day into the season. And I'm just going to come out and start, Parker. We have a lot of things I want to get to today with all of these games. Obviously, last night the season started with a game between the Yankees and the Giants. First one on Netflix ever. Before I even ask you about this game, I'm going to let you get on your soapbox for a second. How was your Netflix experience last night?
I don't know, man. First of all, the first ABS call in the history of baseball in a real game we didn't get to see because Netflix was too busy doing an in-game interview with a rookie manager who's probably shaking in his boots trying to figure out what's going on as his ace gets shelled by the New York Yankees on opening night. This is ridiculous. First of all, I hate in-game interviews. I do not like that they make up Jazz Chisholm and start asking him questions while he's supposed to be getting ready to play ball. I don't like that we're bugging the rookie manager, even though I think he handled himself perfectly. I don't like any of this. But the Netflix experience, I think there was some stuff about it I really liked. I mean, Matt Vasgersian has his lovers and his haters. I'm so on the guy. I think that he does a good job. I thought Hunter Pence was incredible. I thought he was such a good. There's a point where if you notice that you really enjoy a color commentator, they probably did a really good job. Like they're normally
Yes.
just background noise. So great on him. I like the introductions and stuff like that. Burt Kreischer. Don't really know what we were thinking about there, and I love Jameis Winston. So there were some highs and some lows, but I don't know. What about you? What do you think about the Netflix experience?
First off, let me just come out and say Bert doesn't need to be anywhere near this
It
broadcast.
is.
Why? Why?
I
Was he
would
back
like
there with no shirt on? What? Why? What?
they could have just done Jameis. I think Jameis fit it perfectly because
Yes.
Jameis was a very high
Yes.
level Division I baseball player. He was drafted by Major League Baseball. Ended up, of course, winning a Heisman and going and playing NFL football. That's fine. Burt Kreischer, I've never even heard him talk about baseball. There's nothing that he's ever done that would link him to the game of baseball. So I don't know what we're doing. He doesn't even live in California, but he's somehow in San Francisco. Whatever. I think I could have lived without him. Lauren Shahadi did a great job. She's always great.
Yes.
I don't know, but it was Burt for me. That was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, a couple of notes for me. Number one, the score bug did not sit well with me. It was just a little elementary. I don't know. Like people. Oh, I know people are like, what does it matter? I think the score bug's pretty important. Like I look at that stuff. I care about that stuff.
Yeah, no, so do I. I also think that there were some problems with it. I think a lot of the information was really small and just not intuitive. Like I found myself looking in the wrong place. I was like looking at I was looking for the count and I would see that the batter had gone 1 for 2 and think that the count was 1 and 2 until like they walked the next pitch. Like you have to make it so that it's intuitive where you go to get the information because as much as we're all baseball fans and we're all paying attention to the game, I have no idea what the count is on any pitch-to-pitch basis. Like I have to look at the count before every pitch to reset myself, make sure I know what's coming. And I really didn't love the Netflix score bug until I saw the Nesson score bug today, and now the Netflix score bug might as well be one of my favorites ever because the Nesson score bug is an abomination. It's terrible. I need that cleaned up immediately.
It takes up a fourth of the screen. I mean, almost. It's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, it's insane. So actually, I sent you a screenshot, and of course I watched the whole Red Sox game today. I sent you a screenshot, and they had this massive ad underneath that was basically a third of the size of the score bug itself. And then the next inning, first of all, Nesson got blown up on socials. Like everybody was like, this is a terrible score bug. You guys need to fix this. The next inning, it came on screen and there was no ad underneath. And we were all like, oh my God, the people won. And then they jutted an ad out of the side instead. And that stayed up there for the rest of the game. It was so bad. Oh
Like,
my
we have
god.
a responsibility to get paid. Sorry,
Yeah,
fans.
yeah. Well, immediately when I
Stormbug.
saw it, I was like, "Oh my god!" The worst part about this is this massive ad, and clearly they like they were paid an X amount of dollar amount for X amount of screen real estate. So like
Yeah.
you can't easily back out of that or change that on the fly. So we're kind of just stuck with this until whatever contract they sign is over. So whatever Vanguard is got a lot of screen time during the first inning of the Red Sox game today.
Yeah, one last thing I'll say on the whole Netflix experience. We got an interesting nugget from Barry Bonds. Did you
Oh my
catch
god.
that?
Yeah, it was weird.
Whoa.
Apparently Barry Bonds was offered the most money in the history of baseball by George Steinbrenner. Honestly, okay. When I first heard it, I was like, wow, what the hell? And then I thought about it. That is not surprising in the slightest. It makes
No.
perfect sense that George Steinbrenner offered Barry Bonds the most money in the history of baseball. That was just kind of who he was at the time. That's who the Yankees were at the time.
Mhm.
The interesting thing to me is that Barry Bonds didn't sign it because of he didn't like the way that Steinbrenner was like, this is the offer. You got like 4 hours to figure it out and sign it. And Barry hung up the phone and didn't call him back. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It is completely in character for everybody involved with the story. So as like clickbaity or as contrived as it may seem, I actually think that may have actually happened, and I think that that's a pretty
Oh,
cool
yeah.
story to have found out about on Netflix.
Absolutely. Those things that I mean, I love that when that shit comes up. Like things that we've known about these players for 10, 15, 20 years and you're still learning about how things went down. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild. Let's get to the game, Parker, and talk about what actually happened. I don't want to get too much into the game, but I just need to ask you, all right. We have been talking about Aaron Judge for a couple weeks now on this program. 4Ks on opening day for Aaron Judge. I mean, the guy's toast. I mean, right? Like this is it. This is it. We're on the downslope.
Yeah, he hang him up. It's over. You know, it was a good run, Aaron. I'm just kidding. So I think it's so funny because there's two very big stars, actually both Team USA guys from the WBC that we talked quite a bit about during the WBC that had really, really bad days to start the season. Aaron Judge with the golden sombrero, 4Ks, 0 for 5. He's the first NFL, the first MLB MVP in history to strike out 4 times and go 0 for in the opening day following an MVP award. Funny enough, it took Aaron Judge doing it, what was his third or fourth MVP to finally do something like that. So it just took basically somebody winning it enough times, and finally that was eventually going to happen.
I mean, Cal Raleigh wouldn't have done that.
Cal Raleigh wouldn't have done that. Actually, we'll find that out because they're the 10 o'clock game tonight. So actually, Cal Raleigh, you better put up or shut up. Okay, definitely Aaron Judge. I think he's going to be okay. I think it's so funny. It's easy to jump down the guy's throat. One thing that I really want to point out, and I did hear this first on Rich Eisen, is that in the past when Aaron Judge goes 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, the Yankees lose. This game, Aaron Judge went 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, and the Yankees scored 7 runs and shut out the Giants, which are a good offense in and of themselves.
It's a perfect point because we have often also talked about the Yankees' success this year, like past years, cannot rely on Aaron Judge. If they can continue to do that with Aaron Judge on his B game,
yeah,
I may have to take back all I've said about the Yankees. That's going to be hard for me to do, friends. I mean, I've been shitting on the Yankees for a couple weeks now, okay? But let's also be real. Again, opening day overreactions, but I don't want anyone to think that there is not a path for this Yankees team to win the AL East and go deep into the playoffs. It's not out of the cards. Do I think it's likely? No. But if they can do that with Aaron Judge playing like that, we're having a different conversation.
I am the postseason Aaron Judge of shitting on the Yankees and postseason Aaron Judge. So there's nobody better at shitting all over them than me. So I completely understand what you want, but I got to give him credit. That was a very good performance they put up, especially against Logan Webb, a guy who came out of the WBC looking like he was going to have his full bag of tricks. And they got on him early. They were jumping on the sinker and on the changeup. There was just nothing that he had on the first and second pitch of at-bats, and they made him pay. Now, I got one for you.
Also, before you give me one, I realize I did this wrong in our notes. I totally did that wrong.
No problem. I got one for
great.
you. So since Aaron Judge is washed and he's never going to do anything for the rest of his career. We figured that out because that's how opening day went. It is fair to say then that Paul Skeens is also washed and he's not who we thought he was and he's completely screwed. Am I right?
I mean, without a doubt, when you have Livy Dunn, doing Baywatch and hanging out with other dudes, I'd be nervous too, and it would affect my game. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I
You,
mean, she
Paul.
was busy judging the Paul Skeens lookalike competition before the game. So,
first off, the guy's just living the dream. Let's just be real here. But I mean, it was a weird game for him, Parker. He didn't seem, number one, to have the control he usually does, and two, I mean, his buddy O'Neal Cruz in the outfield did him
oh
no
my
favors.
God.
O'Neal Cruz didn't seemingly remember what a baseball looked like out there because he was missing plays left and right. Behind him, in front of him, just everywhere. I mean, he could have got away, Paul Skeens, with maybe an earned run or two, and not the 5 that he was tagged for in this game. And now he's entering the season with a very smooth 67.5 ERA. So
Yeah,
that's not great.
O'Neal Cruz really messed this up because Paul could have got out with like one earned run of that inning.
Yeah.
And it sucked too because Pirates, I did watch Rich Eisen before we started recording, and on that show they were making fun of the Mets fan because at the time of their recording the Pirates were up 2-0 on the Mets, and Rich Eisen said something to the effect of like, yeah, okay, yeah, keep thinking the Mets are going to win. Paul Skeens has a 2-run lead on opening day in the first inning. He's coming out on the mound ahead already. And, well, that's not exactly what happened. So, no, I think Paul Skeens is going to be fine. I think he's going to pitch over 200 innings. He's still my pick to win NL Cy Young. He's an absolute beast. He's going to be okay. If O'Neal Cruz doesn't, first of all, the first one where he misjudged the ball and it just went over his head, that's 100% on him. The second one with like the sun ball, it's like, okay, sometimes that happens. And we're not so mad about the sun ball if the first one got caught. So like it is what it is. I think this team's going to be okay. I think O'Neal Cruz is going to be okay. I think Paul Skeens is going to be okay. So.
Oh, I have one for you, Parker. We're going to stay over here with Pirates Mets. The Mets put an 11 spot on the Pirates today. And that was primarily led, if we're looking at the box score here, that was led by a Brett Beatty triple. We had a Marcus Semien double. Luis Robert Jr., hey, hitting some singles. Love to see that. Is this Mets team for real? Like, is this it? Is this the offense that they have built? And this is going to carry itself out the rest of the year, I'm assuming. No?
So I don't know. Was the point of this to give me an overreaction? Because I think it is for real, man. Like when we were doing our predictions last week, I picked the Mets to win 93 games and win the NL East. Like was already in on this Mets team, and if Marcus Semien's going to do what he just did, Brett Beatty's going to contribute at the level he did, and Juan Soto's going to Juan Soto over the course of the year. Francisco Alvarez got everybody in America a Baja Blast today by hitting an over 420-foot home run. Like, if this is going to be who the Mets are, if they can bang the ball around like this, yeah, man. Granted, they did a bunch of their scoring off of a long reliever today, right? It's opening day. Paul Skeens didn't last a full inning. But, like, if the Mets are the kind of team that punishes teams for things like that quickly, if you drop a fly ball against the Mets, they put 5 up on your forehead, maybe this Mets team is legit. So I actually don't think this is an overreaction. Nice try, though.
Wow, that's interesting. I have to try a little harder next time. I will say I will refute that just slightly, and not that I believe that is inherently wrong. I think they are a strong offense, and I think they can go full 162 and make it very interesting. However, I think this lineup has the ability to have very long stretches of kind of cold bats. And here's what I mean by that. If you look through this lineup, Francisco Lindor, Soto, I can count on them regularly. Understand that. Bichette, I mean, he has his cold streaks. Polanco, he had a good flash in the pan last year. Let's hope that moves over and carries over to 26. But then after that, Luis Robert Jr., he's my guy, but it's Luis Robert Jr. Whether he plays at least 120 is going to be a freaking miracle. And then Beatty is still a question mark. I mean, there's just so many what ifs still. I think this was a good day. I hope you're right. I hope they carry it out the rest of the season, but there's still so many players here that I'll peg them for a 2 or 3 week kind of just down streak. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, that's kind of just been what the Mets have been over the last few years. But I don't know if, like,
Yeah.
especially if a Lindor doesn't really get hampered by this hamate bone injury that he had,
Yeah.
and guys like Marcus Simeon can like go out there and be who you know the peak form of himself and recapture some of his former glory. Yeah, I really like this Mets team. I really do. I hope
I
that they
dig it.
do well because I said they would a week ago.
Yeah. It's all about making Parker right. That's exactly why we're here.
I got another one for you. So during our fantasy baseball draft the other day, you completely kneecapped me by taking my glorious king Roman Anthony from me. How'd you feel about him? I mean, he's marching his way towards like a 300 hit season at this point, right?
I mean, I would think so. Anything less would be disappointment, right? I mean, especially for you. I mean, he is something really caught my attention. Yesterday, I think it was. I was watching MLB Network, and Mark DeRosa was up there talking about his experience with some of the guys from the World Baseball Classic, and Roman Anthony came up. And the things that I heard Mark DeRosa say about Roman Anthony, I've never really heard someone as smart in the game as Mark DeRosa talk about another player. Like, I mean, Mark DeRosa came on and basically said, like, this is a guy who, for as young as he is, he's playing and talking and acting like a 5-10 year veteran. Guys don't come out and say that, folks. I want to be very clear. People in the sport do not come out and say that about players. And in this case, for Roman Anthony today to do what he did with I'm trying to pull up actually the box score and refresh my memory here
Well, I'll
because
tell you right now, he
he
had
went ahead
two singles in his first two at bats. The first of them was on the first pitch
three.
of the season.
3 for 4 today. He opened
Yeah.
up the season 3 for 4, RBI and a strikeout. If you're giving me 3 hits, I don't care. You can strike out once a game. I don't give rat's ass about that. But he is a guy, Parker, that 200 hits, I think, is very much in the ballpark. I don't think that's an overreaction. I think that's very possible. And you're looking at someone in Roman Anthony that if he continues that up, I don't know that he'll win an MVP, but he's very much in an MVP vote conversation, and top 5 is not unrealistic in my mind.
Okay. All right. Um. Wow. I got one more for you.
Uh-oh.
Same old White Sox, huh?
No, just shove it.
White Sox are going
That
to be the
no.
worst team in baseball again. It's
No,
all
no, no,
going
no.
downhill from here. How do you feel about
You
the White
know,
Sox start to their season?
I, you know what? These games are going to happen for the White Sox. We know it, and
Yeah.
we know it because one, they were going against Mizorowski, and Mizorowski is going to shove against everybody. It just so happened 11 Ks today. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to do that against the Dodgers, no problem. But I I do feel like when you look at what the White Sox did even today, that is not what the White Sox have done historically. To come out and put a one run on the board out of the gate with a leadoff Chase Mydroth home run,
Mm-hmm.
to be late in a game and still, even though you're down by 7, 8, 9 runs, still put up runs late into a game. Murakami hitting his first major league home run. I mean,
Oh,
that one
piss
was
missile,
just
by the way.
piss,
Oh my
absolute piss. I mean,
God.
off the bat. I mean, this is why you get excited about a guy like that. I think, are they the old White Sox? By no stretch of the imagination. I think these games are going to be very fun to watch this year. And if this is one of 162, so be it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I was really disappointed as I saw that score start to tick the way of the Brewers. But yeah, Mizorowski was nails, and he's gonna be nails. And you guys aren't going to win a division. We're looking for like a fourth place finish out of these White Sox. All we're looking for is
Yes.
flashes. And you know what we got today? We got two really distinct flashes from two very important pieces moving forward. The Chase Mydroth leadoff, some really good, solid, like 7-8 pitch at bats from Chase Mydroth. He struck out, yeah, okay, but professional at bat from him. And then a nuke from Murakami, who looks like he's going to be, if that continues, he's going to be worth all the money that he was paid. So for a couple really important pieces for this team, I was happy to see them do what they did.
Absolutely. Parker, last one for you. I'm going to take you to St. Louis, and we're going to talk about J.J. Weatherholt, because J.J. Weatherholt broke camp with the Cardinals, top prospect for them, leading off in his first ever major league game, and hits his first MLB home run today. Is this guy the real deal, and could he make a run at NL Rookie of the Year this year?
Yeah, I think he can. I was super fired up about him last year. I always, if you don't know much about the prospects in Major League Baseball, go play MLB The Show, because if you play Diamond Dynasty, there's a bunch of really cool cards for all these young guys. I'm not even joking. There's a bunch of really cool cards
Yeah.
for all these young guys, and I played with JJ Weatherholt quite a bit last year, and I was really excited about him. Uh, as a shortstop coming up in a middle infielder in general coming up for the Cardinals, you got guys like Mason Wynn around you. There have been some really interesting performers that come up through that system that haven't entirely panned out the way that they thought. They just got an influx of prospect talent from the Red Sox, with the Sonny Gray trade and stuff like that. So I think that there is a lot to be excited about if you start seeing things like JJ Weatherholt playing well, and then the Cardinals
Mm.
coming back from a 5, 6, 7 run deficit against the Rays to come back and win the game at home on opening day. That's just cool stuff to see. Again, this is not a team that we're looking to finish more than third would be a really good year for them in that division. So, good for them. Good for JJ Weatherholt. I love seeing a young guy do good stuff. And yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. I think the Cardinals are in a position where they are not, like you said, they're not going to compete. This is one of those years for the Cardinals where they need to figure out who they have, who they can rely on, so that Hein Bloom can go ahead and build out this team. And JJ Weatherholt will be the cornerstone of that team going forward, not a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. Maybe not the cornerstone. Ironically, I don't know that he's going to be the cornerstone. I could see Ivan Herrera. I
Sure.
really,
Oh,
really,
that's interesting.
I think he's going to be. My eyes are on him. I think he's going to be a big deal.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because now that I think about the Cardinals, maybe neither of them, because they're both very solid, top prospecty players, but are either of them really like your blue chip prospects? Probably not. So I don't even think they
No.
really even have a guy now that you think about it. That's interesting.
No, but they do
Huh.
stand out to be like one of those teams that has a core. The Diamondbacks
Sure.
from 2, 3 years ago, where it's like, oh, all three of these guys are very good. Now,
Yeah.
I hesitate to use the 2016 Cubs because they had like MVPs, like three MVP candidates on that team, but they had a
Yeah.
core. There wasn't a guy, but there was in Chris Bryant. But you can build a really competitive team out of a few pretty good guys, and that they have a couple of them. They have a
True.
couple of them for sure.
That is true. That is true. Well, that was just day one, Parker. That was just day one. We have a lot of baseball left. Come
Yeah, we
on now.
do.
It's
7
gonna
more
get
months.
interesting, man. It's gonna get interesting, and we're excited for it. So I know that we're gonna be pumped. I know that you're gonna be pumped, folks. We're here for all of it. So make sure you are following us on YouTube, Rallycap, subscribing, liking, leaving us a comment, and right now leave us a comment. What was the most exciting thing that happened in open day for you? Tell us, let us know, and thanks for joining us here on Rallycap.